Street Fighter 6 is easily one of the worst fighting games I've ever played, and if your first thought to that is, oh god, what's crawled up this guy's ass? Look, I don't know either, but that's the beauty of starting off a video with a statement about as loaded as a Glock in my rigged game of Russian roulette. Here's the plot twist. I'm not actually talking about Street Fighter 6, the one releasing in a couple of weeks, but Street Fighter 6, the one that came out in 1993. Or more specifically, Fighter 12 People Street 6, the 1996 re-release. Backstory, once upon a time there was a popular game called Street Fighter 2. And if you were poor, you didn't own a Mega Drive or a Super Nintendo and you couldn't bring the arcade experience home, all you had was a Taiwanese bootleg Famicom. Bootleg game developers realized that because Street Fighter 2 is super popular, they can just make their own version of it, sell that, and be super popular too. If you've got no morals and nothing to prevent you from committing IP theft, it made sense to do so. And that's how there were a ton of Street Fighter games on the 8-bit Famicom as a result, and while all of them are terrible in their own special little way, then there was this one. This version of Street Fighter 6 has 12 fighters: Ryu, Honda, Balrog, Guile, Ken, Chun-Li, Ryu, Honda. Yeah, there's only 6 fighters and 6 more palette swaps. At least outside of the single player, where if you get far enough, you'll fight the corrupted spirits of Zangief and Dhalsim. The gameplay is the one thing that can truly make or break a game, and by comparison, if this game is broken, I should reclassify my former relationships as stable. The timing for attacks is really weird, since in this game most attacks don't use the actual sequence of keys that Street Fighter 2 has. You wanna know how to do a Hadouken? Oh, thanks, me too! I think all you do is hit A and B at the same time for most attacks, except the timing requires some sort of dexterity that the AI can spam and you can get fucked with. The special moves have a weird habit of not actually working, and I couldn't figure out the kind of dark wizardry offering to the damned that I needed to provide so they could work consistently. I just ended up playing as Chun-Li for most of the game, because at least her special was the only one that I sort of figured out, and it was pretty strong if you spammed it. As for the AI, outside of Ryu, who I'm pretty sure is either the 90th percentile of players or outright cheating, all of the AI that I was able to fight were about as brain dead as me playing Counter-Strike. And the reason why I said able to fight is because the game had a weird tendency to crash after battles, and it just wasn't fun having to restart the game over and over again to get nowhere. But hey, at least playing this game taught me something, and that something is that I really have no place reviewing one-on-one fighting games, because something here just isn't clicking. Maybe I'm just understanding the game wrong, maybe if I give the game to someone that actually likes fighting games, they could figure out how to play it properly. The only way that I got anywhere is by choosing the AI over and over again until the time ran out. But when I think of deep fighting games with lots of strategy in the gameplay, well, I don't. And I know for sure that this game definitely isn't it. The most I can say is that it's pretty fun if you've got 2 players. It's a shame that I never managed to get that footage, but when neither you, your opponent, nor the game know what you're doing, it starts to get this rock, paper, scissors vibe where it doesn't matter who wins, technically everyone loses. Visually, you get large flickering sprites and a total of 2 backgrounds with lots of color palette tomfuckery that makes one of them look good and the rest of them look like procedurally generated vomit. The sprites are also really simple, like for example Street Fighter 3 on the NES. It plays better, has more characters, and more importantly, the characters have dithering and definition added to make them look about as realistic as you can get from an 8-bit console. And Street Fighter 6 isn't the ugliest NES game, but if we're comparing it to other Street Fighter clones on the NES, yeah, it could have been better. Anyway, the one good thing that I can say about the game is that it's got the actual stage songs. They're not particularly great renditions of the soundtrack, but Chinese musicians rarely got audio coming out right on 8-bit consoles. It's grating, but at least it's clearly got the melodies in them, and that's what matters. So my final score is technically has Guile's theme. I mean, it doesn't even really sound that bad, actually. But like, I'm not gonna go around and pretend that this was the worst fighting game ever made. It's down there out of all the games that I've played, but I absolutely bet you someone made a worse fighting game, and I bet you someone's gonna mention it in the comments. Everyone with 2 working brain cells knows exactly why I chose this port to make a video on. But hey, now you can say, oh yeah, Street Fighter 6, I saw it, game's a load of old shit, innit? You know, until the actual thing comes out, and you'll get dog testicles made to your community mailbox for making this horrendously controversial claim. You know, up there with the likes of, maybe we shouldn't harass people for playing video games. At least I think those were testicles from a dog, and unfortunately I'm not skilled in amateur animal husbandry / gynecology / vivisectionary, and you probably shouldn't be skilled in that either. Go do more productive things with your life, like play shitty bootleg Famicom games. But what I hope to accomplish from this video is to convince some stupidly talented ROM hacker out there, you know, the kind that wades through YouTube videos with no views, mixed with a septic tank that was my pile of metaphors, to get to the wonderful idea of modding this game and shoving the actual Street Fighter 6 roster into it. Also, if you could fix the controls to be more generous with the special attacks on account of me being atrociously stupid at this genre, I would really appreciate that. I would really love to see Street Fighter 6 on the NES. Huh. That sounds pretty cool.